Hey, folks, and hello, good people. I am Casey Venning, co founder and executive director of Hey, Helping Empower Youth. And so, wanted to just take a moment. We're getting back in the habit of our weekly updates and broadcasting live so that you all know what is happening, what is going on. I'm encouraging you to please like and share because people have been asking us a lot, what's next now that the school year has started, the summer has ended, and so we want to make sure as many people as possible get the information. So whether you're catching the replay or you are viewing this live, we ask that if you can be engaged, send comments, questions, encouragement that we can share with the young people that we serve, or please like and share this video, this broadcast, so that other people can also get in on the fun. Okay. So, a couple of quick updates. We know that school here in Atlanta started on August 1st. And so they've been rocking and rolling for about a month now. And we are starting to see kind of the new routine, the school year routine settle in place. You all know that here at the Hay House, we also, not a traditional after school program. A lot of what we do is catered and centered around what young people need. And so that is like one of our core values. It is around being youth centered and youth focused. We do understand that young people need structure. We understand that young people need guidance, but in that we always leave a bit of flexibility. Sorry, there's a fly that is bothering me. We always leave a bit of flexibility to be able to really build something that is going to work for them. Mostly because of the communities that our young people come from and some of their daily experiences, we have to account for the mental space that they come to us in and with, and making sure that we are adjusting because of that. So that is back in full swing, and we're excited about it. Have to start here because I'm just so incredibly proud, like a proud mama. Two of our young men represented the organization last night at a community meeting. For those of you who know where we are situated here in Atlanta, we are on the west side, which is the best side. Yes, Miss Vanessa, girls can join. Hey, a large part of our work is centered around young men, but we turn no one away. And we are here Tuesday through Friday from about 4 p.m. to about 7:30. Sometimes a little bit later, depending on what's happening in the community and what the needs are for young people. And then on Saturdays, they are here as they do their community outreach that Coach Boyd leads so beautifully. So, yes, information there. And you all can always reach out if you have questions about young people that you want to get involved in the work. We will get them plugged in. But like a proud mama, last night I could not attend the community meeting. And what I was saying is that if you know where we are situated, we are in the Katherine Johnston home. If you're not familiar with that story, then I encourage you to go and Google it. It is a fortunate event that took place and ultimately took her life in 2006. But we have the home, it's been restored and renovated. And this is where we have the Hay House, where we have our programming. And we're on the west side, which is the best side. But we're also in a food desert. And so we have been waiting to see when Walmart is going to reopen their neighborhood mart, which is basically their grocery store division. And so it won't be the full Walmart that comes back on MLK. But yes, please, Coach Boyd. But it will provide food and those really basic necessities for our community members, and for our young people who are impacted by that closure as well. And so Coach Boyd took two of our young men who represented our organization so that the youth voice could be heard in that space as well. A lot of the work that we do, whether it is intentional or as a byproduct of programming, is always ensuring that they have agency in their own voice, that they are the owners of their story, that they are the conveyors of their narrative, and that no one can co-opt it for them, not even the adults who hold good space for them. And so wherever and whenever we can allow for them to speak up for themselves, that's exactly what we do. And so last night they did that, and I was just so excited to get the text messages and to get the videos and get the nods of just sheer pride that folks had as Santonio in particular stood up and shared with Walmart executives all of the things that we've been working on, and how Walmart as a corporation and as a good corporate citizen can support not just the organization as a whole, but these young people in particular. And one of those things, was just sharing with them about, hey, hydrate. You all know we have, worked with the young men to brand their own water. So real quick shout out to Center for Civic Innovation. Last night, they got 4 cases of water. And so we were the official water brand at the CCI showcase last night as we introduced 8 phenomenal organizations around social justice and violence intervention and interruption work in particular to the community. And so we were excited to be there, and CCI always shows up strong for us. So thank you to the entire team over there. But Santonio was telling folks about this water. And y'all know we've been talking about this water and trying to get it into stores for the last year. And this is it's a slow process. I don't know any other way to describe it. It is a slow process. It is working patience in us, as James would allude to if you are a Bible reader. But it is working good patience in us and also in the young men. But we are going to persevere, and you're going to see this, because here's the truth, y'all. Folks around the country want to support us. We can't ship this water. This water is too expensive for us to incur the cost. We would dare not pass on a $60 and $70 shipping fee to someone for buying a case of water. But as we grow, right, as we get purchase orders, as we really are able to produce more water, then it drives the cost of the bottle per bottle down, but it also allows us to be able to negotiate different freight and shipping costs and that kind of thing. And so I'm excited that I have a couple of people I can call on to really help give us that knowledge of that industry. Is not something that we have, to ensure that we're hearing right and we're responding correctly, so that we can get the best bang for our buck. But hey, hydrate. So you can support us as well by ordering a case of water if you are local. If you are local, then we work to deliver. We work to do pickups, drop-offs, whatever they may look like for you. If you have an organization that is having an event, a conference, a convening, a festival of any kind, then reach out to us. We would love for you to purchase this water because it directly supports young people. We know that it's easy to go to a big box grocery store or a warehouse and be able to buy 36 bottles for $2.99. We get it. Everybody wants to be economically sound and fiscally responsible, but you're not just buying water when you purchase Hey Hydrate. And so when you pay a little bit more for this, you're supporting young people. It goes directly to young people, right? And so we want to make sure that we're doing our best to do that. So again, if you have an organization, you have a company, you're a part of a civic and social organization, whatever that may look like, even if it's just one time, we may not be your water brand of choice going forward for the rest of perpetuity, but it would be a strong showing if one time you decided that, hey, let's be intentional about everything that we do as it relates to this work, and let's buy water from these young people who are working really hard to make wiser decisions in how they spend their time and how they engage in activity that allows for them to generate income. All right. And you can do that because everybody has to drink water. Everybody should be drinking water. Water is a necessity for our sustenance and for our life source. So there's nothing you can tell me to say, oh, well, we don't need water. No, you need water, right? And so we want you to also find the need to support the young people, right? So here's the other thing. We love our partners over at the Atlanta United Supporter Group Resurgence. And so Resurgence, for 2 seasons in a row, hope you can see that, they have co-branded their water with us. And so that is an option for you too. If you know that you have ongoing events and you're going to need water, we can co-brand the label so that you're supporting Hey Hydrate, but people also see your brand, and you can put a QR code on it for folks to be able to learn more about your organization. So if you're looking to give away water, if you are a doctor's office, any place where people are sitting, then again, you can put your logo on it, a QR code, so that people know more about who you are. But you are still supporting Hey Hydrate. And so we work with you around what bulk ordering looks like and the minimum number of cases that you have to get in order for you to be co-branded. So it's a great sponsorship opportunity. Again, for organizations that and businesses that have marketing dollars and you want to get involved in cause marketing. It's kind of my wheelhouse. I spent a lot of years at a pretty large nonprofit here in Atlanta, helping to execute a lot of those cause marketing programming. This is a great, easy, low lift way to do it. So I encourage you to reach out to us. And if you yourself don't have that bandwidth, y'all know somebody. That is the best way that y'all can help us outside of making a donation, because doing good costs. Y'all know I say that often. I'm waiting to get my t-shirt made, but doing good costs. The next best thing that you can do is to tell somebody else about what we're doing and how they can then support us as well. Okay. All right. So that's Hey Hydrate. That's kind of the recap on that, how you can get involved, how you can support. The next thing that is coming up, and we cannot wait, y'all, is September 30th. It is our Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. You all know that this is something that is near and dear to my heart, Coach Boyd's heart, because of the origin of how this book festival got started. So I'm going to give you the abridged version, the highlights. I may schedule another live to go deep into the why. But the abridged version is we were doing programming at William Boyd Elementary School over in the Bankhead community. And I was also serving as a community advocate and a bridge builder, really, with an organization called Families First. And so I was in the schools every single day. And we were just, making sure that young people and families had what they needed. Well, anyway, we are all familiar with the book fair, right? We're going to leave names out. We're all familiar with the book fair that will come into our school libraries and media centers. And they have the full layout, the full spread, right? You could take the catalog home and go through it with your family members, your caregivers, to see which books you wanted to purchase. That's when you would get your $5, your 10, your 20, whatever it is, and then go on your scheduled time and date to purchase your books. Well, I understand from a business standpoint that even when you're doing something good, you have to break even at the bare minimum. Coach Boyd's giving y'all a little code, little hint here. Even then, you have to break even, and you want to make profit. That's why you're in business, right? Well, what hurt our hearts so much was that in a school community where literacy was below the not just district average, but the state average, where we know that third grade reading scores are still determining how many for-profit prisons are being built. And for a community that had generational poverty, and we know that education can, hear me, can, if used properly, be the great equalizer. That entity said, hey, we can't bring this book fair unless you pay us up front. because it's not a guarantee that we're going to make money by coming into this particular school, because what they would do is assess the revenue generation based on the zip code that the school was in. So if you're familiar with Atlanta, you're familiar with Bankhead, you know that historically that area, at least for the last 30 to 40 years, has been economically depressed, and there has not been an economic engine there to provide mobility for our families, which means that the students who come into Boyd, and at that time were 100% free and reduced lunch, which means they were at or below the poverty line. But yet, this big box publishing company wanted to charge this school a certain amount of money before they would even ship materials there. The media specialist at the time put the deposit on her personal credit card to ensure that young people would have the opportunity to engage in the book fair that most of us grew up engaging with and experiencing. It really infuriated me. I shared this information with Coach Boyd. We were like, well, what can we do? The first thing that we did was that we raised money so that we could at least sponsor a third grade class to go in and purchase 2 books apiece, right? That was the first thing that we did. We knew that we can't change anything about this particular book fair at this particular date, but we can help meet an immediate need. And so we fundraised and we sponsored 1 third grade class, because remember, third grade was important to us because that is the test scores that are used to build prisons. So we sponsored 1 third grade class to be able to go in and purchase 2 books apiece at that particular book fair. But that wasn't enough for us. Now, we could have continued to fundraise so that every year we were pouring money back into that particular corporation, that particular entity. But it didn't sit right with us because of the reason they were asking for the deposit. So that was the catalyst, that was the inspiration for us to create the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. Now, when we first did this in 2018, we had a lot of pushback because people were like, oh, well, it's discriminatory. Why are you just focusing on children of color? Well, statistically, children of color are still reading below the 3rd grade level. And so we wanted to meet need where the greatest need was. And that was our children in elementary school in particular. So with that, we set out to find authors, publishers, illustrators who were of color as well, Black and brown authors who wrote stories about Black and brown main characters or protagonists, because we wanted our children to see themselves reflected in the pages of the books. And we were literally blown away by the response. Y'all, the very first event we had about 1,200 people come through Hands on Atlanta. They were gracious enough to allow us to use their space. So much so, we had security guards and police officers trying to figure out, how are y'all mitigating crowd control? Sir, we didn't know we would have to control the crowd because we were not expecting 1,200 people to show up. That cemented for us that there was a need for this. We had not seen it done in our area before then. And so we are also excited that we have inspired others to do the same, because there's so many children to reach, right? We don't own any of this when it comes to our young people. We can inspire you and encourage you and motivate you and mobilize you to do something amongst your own community. Then we have won and we have done our job there too. So 2018, we kicked off. It was going to be an annual thing. I don't know, maybe we hadn't really gone that far. Shindia. We hadn't really gone that far, but literally when people were leaving, it was like, when's the next one? We was like, oh, put your email here. We're going to let you know, right? We had not even thought that far. So as I speed this story up, what became a one-time, we got to at least do something, became a semi-annual event. So we had a fall festival, a spring festival, and we were doing that until pandemic hit, right? And then we couldn't do much of anything because nobody was hosting in-person events because we couldn't. And so we started back up in 2022. Yeah, yeah, started back up last year, late last year. And so the need is still there, the excitement is still there. And so we want you to come and bring your family, your children, your young people to the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color, taking place on Saturday, September 30th at the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. We know it as Rice here in Atlanta. It's at 504 Fair Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30313. And we're going to have vendors that are authors who have published books. We have some repeat vendors, which we always like. And that should tell you something. When people continue to come back year after year, event after event, then it is a successful event. People are not going to come to a place where they're not going to make money, where they're not going to build connections, right? Where they're not going to expand their network. There have been multiple occasions where we've gotten feedback from some of the authors and the vendors who have said, hey, I sold enough books that I paid my mortgage this month, or I was able to re-up my inventory and I didn't know how I was going to do that. And so we encourage them to price the books at an affordable rate so that as many families as possible can take advantage of it. But what we've also instituted in the last couple of book fairs is we have kind of like a free library because we don't ever want cost to be a barrier for any of our families. And it's a full festival. So we have a DJ, we have raffles, we have face painting. We're going to have storytellers and story corners. And in the past, we've had best-selling authors come and lend their voice to the work that we've done. So shout out to Kimberly Lawson Roby. And we're just really excited about being able to bring this to you again. We are looking for sponsors. So if you are an individual or organization, a company that wants to ensure that we make this a awesome event, then reach out to us. We can send you the sponsorship package. I promise you it is affordable. Even an individual can decide to be a sponsor at the price point that we have, because again, we try to keep barriers low or non-existent for as much of the work as possible. And so if you would like to sponsor Hey Let's Read Book Festival, I was about to say Hey Hydrate, you can sponsor that too. So if you want to be a sponsor, let us know. If you want to be a vendor, if you are an author, if you are someone who is a owner of a company that has family friendly products, services, goods, and you want to make your products and your services available, let us know. We can get you the vendor intake information and link. And we're coming up in a couple of weeks on the deadline for that so that we can properly prepare for you on that particular day. So there's room for everybody. And if you have access to lots of children and young people, let us know so that we can get you some digital materials and we can get you some flyers if that makes sense for you to put it in the hands of your family, so that we can pack out the place and we can ensure all have a good time. So I'm coming up on my time because I'm trying to do better. Y'all know I can get on these things and go off on a tangent with all that is happening in the world as it relates to our young people. I'm trying to be mindful of y'all's time and just tuning in. So replay this if you missed some information, but we have Hey Hydrate water available for you to purchase for your events, for your offices, for your company. If you have access to folks in procurement and various entities, send that information our way so that we can do our due diligence there. And then also we want you to come out, mark your calendars for Saturday, September 30th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Rice. We're going to be hosting our next iteration of the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. So thank you for joining me for a quick update. I would not be a great executive director if I didn't give you an opportunity to donate. I mean, again, doing good costs, and we can't shy away from it. We pay for every other experience. We pay for every other thing. We have to ensure that we have great programming to put in front of our young people and in our communities too. So I encourage you to go to helpandempoweryouth.org/support-us. So just go to the website. You'll see the support tab up there. There you can donate. You can become a monthly subscriber for even as little as $2 a month. Like, please don't discount anything that you have to give. Okay. So even if it's $2 a month, that makes a big difference. You can be a monthly donor. You can do a one-time gift. Check with your companies to see if they have a matching gift program that if you donate $500, they'll donate $500, and then Hay gets $1,000. If you want to host a fundraiser amongst your friends, so many ways to make this easy and creative for you. So wanted to share that information with you as well. So thank y'all again for tuning in. Any questions, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next week. Bye.